Yo, 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 what it do, man? This is your boy North End Floyd, man, back with another episode, EP 118, man. We getting up there, and I don't want to say I appreciate everybody that's been supporting your boy. I appreciate everybody that's been rocking out, been liking, sharing, doing all those good things. I appreciate everybody that's been in the comments, in the on the chats and all that, man. And what I want to tell y'all what we got going on tonight. We got a great show tonight. I got in educated, two highly educated women on here, man. And we finna talk about, why women picking the wrong men. What's going on out there? Are there a shortage of good men out there? I don't know. We're gonna answer these questions, we'll ask questions, and we got a whole bunch of stuff and whole different other topics that we go talk about too, man. So look, what I want y'all to do right now is I want y'all to go ahead and share this. You know what I'm saying? Share this to your friends so they can tap in and they could call. And also, look, I got a hotline. Y'all don't a lot of people don't like coming on live. So what I did was I got a hotline for y'all. So if y'all, if y'all you disagree with some of my answers and stuff like that, you can hit the hotline number, which is 49233 0017. Man, look at my wine bottle in the background. We sipping wine tonight, all right? So we chilling today. I know y'all used to seeing me sipping vodka and chilling out like, but we sipping a little wine. We having a good time. So man, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Let me bring my guest on. Um, how y'all doing, ladies? What's good? What's going
Hey.
on, y'all? What's up, Trina? Why don't you introduce yourself for people who might not know who you
Okay.
are?
Hi, my name is Trina Rose Frazier. I am the therapist and owner of the Rose Center. That is my practice where I perform cognitive behavior therapy, trauma therapy, and more. Servicing 12 and up couples, all of that. And I also am the proud owner of Pop Psych. So this is one of the shirts right here.
Pop side, yep.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's basically a mental health awareness merch just to get the word out there. And I am happy to be here.
Yeah, yeah. And who do I have as my other guest here?
My name is V. Thank you so much for having me.
Shout out to V.
Floyd saying how much I really enjoy this platform and I always enjoy the conversation. So it is a pleasure to be here and give my little 2 cents. I'm an educator by day and a heathen by night, y'all. So
For sure.
enjoy, having adult conversations. So I'm looking forward to what we're gonna get into tonight.
Yeah, so the topic of this show is why are women picking the wrong man? And I wanted Trina on here because Trina's a therapist and she could break it down and give that therapist perspective, and I want to hear what she had to say. But let's go ahead and just dive into this, man. Why do y'all think women are picking the wrong men? Do y'all think I'm just gonna throw this out here? Do y'all think it's a shortage of good men out there? What's going on?
Hmm. You want to go first, Miss V?
I'll say it. Let me know if you want me to go first. I definitely think that there's a shortage of good men. I do think that. I think that the good ones are taken, just like a lot of men think the good women are taken. But I'm here to tell y'all, there's some good single women out here. I'm one of them. So,
Mm,
um, I think that when we talk about people dealing with their baggage and trauma and all these other things that come along with it, I think that we kind of line up with people at the wrong time.
mm,
So I can say that for sure was my case. Perfect person, just wrong time, wrong time,
Mhm.
or time to heal on my end, and then also on the gentleman's end. So yeah,
Okay.
like,
Well, I don't know. I just, me, I'm all about the semantics. And so when I hear things like there's a shortage of good men, I'm like, ooh, it's so subjective. You know what I'm saying? Because my thing is, it's like, it also talks about perspective, right? So at the end of the day, I really feel like I don't necessarily subscribe to the good and bad when it comes to people. I think that sometimes you might have people that are mixed matched, however you would say, mismatched or mixed match, like socks, right? And so sometimes they may be good to someone else, just not good to you. Because there's a lot of times you'll see someone with someone else, and someone might be like, he was such a dog to her, or she was so trifling with him. And then when they get with the other person, they're like, well, why you couldn't be like that for me? And it was like, because it
mm,
wasn't for you. So there's a lot of these people out here, women and men, who are deemed bad or not good. And then when they end up with other people, it comes out. And I'm not saying that you have to build a person, make a person, all because I know they'd be like, oh, you have to not. I'm not even gonna tell you that you got to take your time to make a person reach their potential, because I know some people say that, but I am gonna say that when it comes to that, I don't necessarily think it's a shortage of either or. I think that is the issue is somewhere else. I think the issue is more specific. It's more personal than that to me. It's an issue with like a shortage on good communication. This period. It's a shortage on understanding. It's a shortage of people, what I'm saying? First of all, understanding yourself before you start seeking someone else. And so sometimes you might have all the best intentions, but you just wasn't in that space yet. So that's why I feel like the shortage is not necessarily in men or women. I think the shortage is in those concepts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like what you said when you said dang, he was dogging me out, and how's he good to you? And I think like sometimes, guys, they go through that phase. They go through that dog phase and getting hurt and transitioning and maturing. And then, some reach that age, it depends on the age, where they be like, okay, man, look, all right, it's time for me to settle down. It's time for me to build with somebody. I know how I was back in the days and stuff like that. And I can't keep going through that. Let me find me a female and let me build. And like, like V said, sometimes it's just wrong timing. It's just, it's just wrong timing, because I'm pretty sure I was a dog to some female a long time ago. And I apologize to that, to whoever that was, because at that time I was immature. I was young. I wasn't trying to build when I was 19, 20 years old and stuff like that. But when I got older and, I started wanting more things in life, then, a female, a woman was like one of those things that I wanted. I wanted to build with somebody, but that just came with growth and maturity and being hurt and unfortunately hurting people and stuff like that. But I mean, my Dwayne said, it's just he said females are just picking the wrong guys out there. And
I've been wrong. What does that even mean though? Like,
well, okay, the stereotype and the thing that goes out there pretty much first thing is like, oh man, they want the bad guys. They want to change the thugs or the what I'm saying, the toxic guys, and be the one to change them and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I made him love me, and yeah, he dogged y'all out, but look, he loves me. I did that. And that good guy, that tried to holler and be like, he just got pushed to the side. So
I don't know.
I definitely don't want any more projects. I'm tired of growing up.
Project.
Yes, no.
It's a project.
And I don't, that's too much though.
Yeah, everybody is responsible for coming to something whole. We all have to look at ourselves. I'm not perfect. I don't expect anybody that I meet to be perfect. But we're all responsible for our own healing. We're all responsible for our own growth. And it was two things when Trina said something and when you said something, Floyd. The first two words that popped in my head were growth and maturity. And you said it. You took it right out of my mouth. It's a growth thing. And unfortunately, men and women grow at different paces.
Yeah, we do.
It's no different. Even as guys, I told Floyd, I'm like the auntie on here. I thought I was a little bit older than mostly everybody. But even as guys get older, I'm dating men in the 50 range, and they still don't have in the 50 range. And I'm just like, man, like what is going on here? And I have a strong desire to love a black man. That's what I, but it is difficult. It's difficult, y'all.
Yeah, and I mean, you're definitely speaking from your own perspective, and I totally get it. I just know that for me, the person that I ended up marrying, I probably wouldn't have been ready for when I was 20 or when I was like where I'm at right now is where I needed to be for that to even come into fruition. So I think that sometimes it's about where you are, because depending on when you decide to link up with somebody, when y'all decide to link up in that regard, it depends on where you're at in life, on who would be the appropriate person for you at the time. When I was younger, especially when I wasn't necessarily, because I wasn't really big on just all of the boyfriend stuff. I wasn't, I always tell people all the time, and I know it might sound crazy, but for those who know me, they know I'm pretty real, like when it comes to me. And I wasn't, I say galling too many people like that. That just wasn't something I was doing. I didn't like the fact that every time you look up, it had to be a label on somebody. So now you just collecting all of these boyfriends and even girlfriends and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You going to dinner or going to the family and everybody just know not to say nothing because they not sure who. No, I've never been that type of person. So
right.
I honestly think you have to call it what it is. And a lot of people say that there are no good men or good women out there because they're going in those situations trying to have something that situation not even made for. Like when Floyd was saying that they want to get with this guy and they're picking the wrong man. No, you're picking somebody trying to be a mate with them when that person just want to have fun with you.
Yes,
You're
and
picking somebody that you trying to build a life with them and they just want to have somebody to hang out with. They just want to have somebody to do fun things with, but they don't want to build with you. So you have to know, what are you linking up with? Who are you linking up with? And make sure that y'all agendas are the same. Because it does that really make them a bad mate or a bad man or woman. If you came with your agenda and it never aligned with theirs in the first place, it's not gonna work out. So as I'm saying, like you have to. I just feel like that to me sometimes gets thrown into that same category. Oh, they was wrong. They wasn't a good man. You picked the wrong man. No, y'all wasn't even on the same page. And now, Floyd, when you were talking about how, you had your time when you was doing your thing and hanging out with people and whatever, and when you got ready to do so, you chose your mate or looked for your mate and you settled down. People are so angry now that women tend to take that same liberty now. And now the women are wrong because they also are trying to get whatever they need to get out of their system or trying to explore and learn more about themselves, right? So, you guys get to do it and learn what you want and what you don't want and then go, all right, I'm done. Let me settle down. But if the woman does it, it's like, what are you doing? Like she has to be waiting for somebody to come and pick her when she might need to get that stuff out of her system too, so she can be considered for somebody, the right woman. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad I got you on the show. So let me break this down. Okay. When I was younger, and this probably is going to prolong to the next topic. It can, but we could just bounce back and forth from this topic to that topic, the next topic. Okay. So when I was younger, like when I said, when I was going through that phase, so I got heartbroken. So you know how I healed? I healed by just not falling in love again and be like, okay, I'm just gonna mess with this female and then mess with that female. And that's how I healed with it because I didn't want to get hurt again. I was hurt, so I didn't want to fall in love. So I wasn't trying to show feelings for a female. And I thought by just messing around and that's how I took out my pain. I said smashing my pain away.
Yeah,
now, forgive me. I'm just throwing my truth out there on the show when I was like, this was when I was like 18 and 19. And I know now that I think about it, like, damn, that was toxic, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I remember telling this to a buddy of mine a long time ago because he got his heart broken. I say, bro, just smash your pain away. And I think, as far as like our culture goes, like, I think we don't know how to properly deal with heartbreaks and trauma. And sometimes that's what happens. Like if a female get her heart broken, then she's just gonna just use guys, you know what I'm saying? So she won't have that same thing happen to her. Or guys might do the same thing. They be like, oh man, this next chick I got, bro, I'm just gonna smash, dash, I'm finna do all this. And I don't think we know how to properly deal with heartbreak and trauma. I think we bring that to the next situation, a female or man that we're with, unfortunately. So let me just go ahead and prolong to the next question, which is how do you properly deal with heartbreak and trauma? Because I don't think I properly dealt with it during those times.
He said, what was it? What's his phrase? Must be smash
the pain away.
Smash the pain away.
I'm sorry, that's what it was. Well, y'all don't kill me for that.
Good old whole phase. Women go through it. Men go through it. I think that it's more acceptable for men to go through it than women. Like we get a title if we go through that. But I think that it happens with males and females. And in terms of the, dealing with the heartbreak and the trauma, I think the number one thing that we need is time. We need time. You need time to process what you've gone through. You need time to divorce that situation, whether it's marriage or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a serious relationship or a committed relationship, whatever you want to call it. The biggest thing is time, taking the time that you need to process through what you need to do to heal so that when you come into something else, you come whole. That's the biggest thing to me. There's complete me. Like, I don't believe in that. That's some old rom-com bullshit, that we see. French, but that's some stuff we see on movies. We have to come in as whole people, and two whole people together make a unit, not 80% and you come 20%, because someone's always going to feel like they're trying to catch up. Or
for sure. Unique chat, my bad. Unique chat, if you want to call, you could just hit the number down below, 49233-0017. She said she had to talk to us. or something. She had a question or something like that. But Miss Taisha was saying like trauma bonds.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? A trauma bond? Y'all both got trauma, and y'all is that what makes toxic relationships?
I mean,
one person can make the relationship toxic.
that's true too. But okay,
Yeah,
so
true. Well,
first, one thing I will say, so I'll be remiss if I don't say it. The smashing to get past it or whatever,
smash the
right?
pain away.
Yeah,
Smash the
that's
pain
right.
away.
That's
Yeah.
what people say. Smash to get past. I mean, first of all, let's be clear. That's not a new thing. The
Okay.
old people used to always say the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else. So our generation, and just start that. Just to be very clear. You know what I'm saying? But that's, to me, all of that is toxic, because at the end of the day, you're saying that's the way I healed, but I challenge that. I don't think you healed. I think that was just your way of trying to either ignore it or distract yourself from it. And then over time now, I would say maybe you feel whole at this point, and that's fine. But I don't think the smashing is what did it, because we have an issue with healing because of what it takes to heal. It's going to hurt. So instead, we distract. That's what we do. And that's what I take smash to get to heal, or smash to whatever. That's a distraction. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing is, what happens though, is that if you continue to distract yourself, at some point you do get to maybe a more mature age, and you realize that wasn't the best option for me, because now I find myself dealing with a whole different monster. A lot of times that monster is you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're collecting all this. So I don't really think that that's healing. That's just my personal opinion on that. So when we talk about the proper way to heal from heartache and trauma, I don't even like to phrase it that way, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So like, it's like to deal with it, I would say, because when you say proper, it's like there's a manual or a book to it, and it's different for everybody, you know what I'm saying. But what I will say is that one of the most important things that, like I said, Ms. V pointed out, time. We are so quick and so ready to move on. If you're used to having somebody around, you just want to fill in that space. And a lot of times you fill it in with somebody that really is probably not the best option for you. I'm not saying they're good or bad. It just might not be the best option for you. When in my personal opinion, this is coming from not just professional, but my own experience just as a person, because I'm a human. You understand what I'm saying? And I done been through heartbreak before. The person you need to fill that space with is you. You need to fill it with you. You need to spend time with you. You don't learn from your experiences by jumping into another one. You learn from your experiences by reflecting on them. So people get so caught up in the past because you don't know what the past is for. Well, here's an option. The past is to reflect and to learn, because it's already written. It's not going to change. So that's the beauty of it. So you get to look at that and glean from it what you will, so you can be healthier when you go into the next situation. But when you just run past it and try to just jump into something else, you're leaving pieces of yourself behind. You need to collect that. See? You know what I'm saying? You got to collect that so you can move forward. This whole notion of you complete me. No, and I'm so glad you said that, because you do not complete me. If I am it's like I tell people all the time, you are the outfit and everyone else is an accessory. They complement you. You know what I'm saying? You know, the outfit, you need that. You need your clothes to protect you, to cover you, whatever. And you're not going, it's like if you don't have the purse, if you don't have the earrings, if you don't have the hat, that doesn't really make you naked. You know what I'm saying? So you are what you need, right? And then the other stuff is just extra. If you go into a situation thinking somebody completes you, then boy, when things are rocky, you will sacrifice, fight, and honestly be very hurt if that person was to leave, because now you feel like a piece of you is leaving, and that's a lot of power that you're giving to other people. And then when you end up with the heartbreak is even heavier, because you're not just mourning a relationship, you're actually mourning a piece of yourself, and that's a grief that, you know, is a lot harder to manage. So, you know, I'm always say therapy, simply because that's a good option to have an objective person to talk to. But I'm also going to say, you know, more so spending time with yourself, getting to know yourself, reintroducing yourself, because sometimes we lose ourselves in relationships and in other people. You know,
now let me ask you this: does closure dealing with a heartbreak, should you try to get closure from that person? Like, you know, if you're getting your heart, I mean, if they did certain things to you, is that part of the healing, or you just need to just understand that you might not get closure from this? You just gonna have to just deal with it and understand that it happened. So I'm just saying, when you have a heartbreak, should you go out and seek closure from that person, or just, you know, just understand it happened? So you need to just deal with it.
I don't think everybody's going to give it to you, right? So some people are just that honorary and I dare to say evil that, even if they could give it, they won't, just for the sake of you hurt me. So that's how I know I can hurt you. Um, Sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't. That's just not in romantic relationships. That's in family relationships, friendships, and any other ship that we go through, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I personally have probably seeked it in some, don't always get it, but I learned how to cope with that myself. Like, what am I supposed to take away from this? And if the other person doesn't choose to talk to me about it, then that's just what it is.
You know what? When before I got married a long time ago, I was talking to this chick, and one thing, and I liked her, but the only thing was she couldn't get past. She was still suffering from heartbreak and trauma from her her baby's father, and every time we used to have a conversation, she used to always bring them up and bring up some issues that happened and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, I want to have a conversation with you, but every time we have a conversation, somewhere in between the conversation, it leads to, oh, I never had this or experienced this because he used to always hurt me, and it'll bring down the mood. Like, we'll have like a great conversation, and then all of a sudden, boom, she'll start talking about him or what he did and stuff like that, and it just killed the mood to where I'll be like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna call you back. And now that I realize, she didn't properly deal with the trauma and the heartbreak that she suffered with her baby daddy, and she used to just always bring it up, and I wasn't really ready to hear that. I was trying to get to know her, but unfortunately that's the main thing what she wanted to talk about, and it didn't work out because that's what she kept talking about. But
Hmm.
Bag
I
lady.
I don't think it was time.
Yeah.
She was, it was too, she wasn't ready. Yeah, again, it's talking about agendas. Y'all are not on the same page at all. You know what I'm saying? And so, because if y'all were, it wouldn't have bothered you as much when she said it, or she wouldn't have been saying it as much. And I mean, when you say that, I don't know anybody that's going to be just welcoming that all the time. You know what I'm saying? But when you talk about closure, my view on closure is, at the end of the day, I totally understand. I'm not going to act like I've never tried to, but I also will be honest with you and say, when I was seeking closure, I really wasn't trying to leave. You understand what I'm saying? So when it comes,
No, I feel what you're saying, for sure.
Yeah, I'm just being honest. Like, if you're really honest with yourself, you're like, I just need closure. It's like, you got closure. The closure is within you. You're the one that's gonna give you closure. And sometimes the way that people end things, or the way that things break, do you really need to talk to the person that did that? You need more from that? Because I feel like that was enough right there to let you know everything you need to know. How they feel about you. Do they want to be with you? Do they care about you? But no, we want to go and be like, why did you do this to me? What answer are they going to tell you that's going, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
And I deserved it, and I'm grateful you did it. There's no answer that they're going to give you, in my opinion, that's truly, for the most part, right? I don't like to speak all inclusive, but for the most part, I don't really know what answer that person can give you that is going to make it worth your while to chase that closure, especially if that person already did something to you that makes you feel like you need to chase them for closure anyway. Because if you guys are to end things amicably, y'all usually would have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? It'll be an agreement. So if that wasn't the way it was handled, and that person doesn't think that it's an automatic thing to tell you what's up, then why would you trust them to do it if you're bothering them or texting them or calling or going by whatever you're doing to try to get that closure? So closure a lot of times is people just kind of dragging it on because they themselves are not ready to truly accept the fact that it's over. So I just continue looking for closure because that allows me to keep it going. And a lot of times when you link back up with that person for closure, y'all end up back in that little toxic situation again because there was no closure. You understand what I'm saying? So I really feel like closure is very personal. And if you are looking for closure, that is something that I really feel like you can probably give yourself if you're honest about it. So
yeah, no doubt.
I think it's just a scapegoat.
Okay, so Well, you kind of chimed into that, and as far as like, the self-love. So how important is self-love? Because I think now it kind of became a thing, but back in the days, we weren't hearing too much stuff about self-love, and now I think it's starting to be more popular, as far as people, talking about self-love and things like that. So how important do you think, and what is self-love?
Teaching people how to treat you. That's how I feel. I'm the best example of how you should treat me. So
Yes.
if I don't love myself first, how can I expect you to? If I don't teach you how to treat me, how do you know how to treat me? I keep
Amen.
thinking that you know exactly what V needs. You
Mhm.
know exactly what V needs, because V may not necessarily need what your ex needed, or the chick you dated 2 or 3 chicks ago, right?
Hmm.
Like,
Mhm.
show you how to treat me. So if I show that I have enough love and respect for myself, it teaches you to love and respect me.
Mhm.
Mm.
Bingo. Every single thing that she said, love it, love it, love it. Because the thing about it is, self love, like you said, we're starting to hear it a lot more, and there are some people that are genuine about it. But I also feel like it's in that bag of those buzzwords that are used now, and so we have to make sure we define them, because self love has become the toxic, the boundaries,
Hmm.
the vibe, the energy, those words that people like to use without staying true to their definition. So the fact of the matter is, when you're talking about self-love, just basically, yeah, love for self. But what does it mean to love myself? It means, in spite of. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? That means no matter what happens, no matter what, when I fall, when I'm this, I'm still gonna love me regardless.
Hmm.
That is absolutely necessary, right? And then, like Miss V said, perfect. You have to teach people how to treat you.
Uh,
Hmm.
You can't assume that they will know how to treat you. So you have to teach them. And that's what comes with communication, right? That's what comes with, the way that you treat yourself. So I always tell people at the end of the day, you know, if you don't like how people treating you, you have to ask you what you're teaching them,
yes, indeed.
you know, because the thing is, people observe how you treat yourself,
Hmm.
Mhm.
and then they also observe how you allow others to treat you. So those are the ways that they learn how to treat you. And so it's like the whatever you condone, whatever, we are so afraid sometimes to correct people. And in the earlier parts of the relationship, you think everything's supposed to be roses and butterflies and whatever, when you need to correct them, because right now you're setting a tone. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, one thing about self-love is, how you gonna teach somebody how to treat you if you don't know how to treat you?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And if you don't want to be around you, what makes you think other people want to be around you? So you have to start falling in love with yourself again. You have to learn how to spend time with yourself without feeling like it's a problem. Like, how some people just always gotta be with somebody doing something. It's like, because you don't know you, or you don't think that you don't think you're worth it. So
Mhm.
how is somebody else gonna think it? So when we're talking about self-love, the thing about self-love is, it's all of those things. It's that confidence, it's that self-respect. Do I have dignity? It's about how critical am I of myself? Because there's a big difference between being self-critical and holding yourself accountable. Some people think those are the same thing, but guess what? Only one of them includes love.
Mhm.
I can hold
Yeah.
myself accountable and correct myself and want to get better and change things about myself, because I love me and I want to present the trueness of who I am and the genuine good person to the world. Or I can just beat myself down thinking that's going to make me feel better, and it's really not. It's not going to improve me. It's not going to make me want to be a better person. It's going to make me feel worse. At the end of the day, if the whole world is rooting for you and you're not rooting for you, that doesn't matter. But if you're the only person rooting for you and no one else is, that matters way more. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be your
Mhm.
own biggest fan.
Yeah,
You got to
true.
be
I
your own
like what you said too. You say, I mean, you got to take time out for yourself, and you
Mhm.
got to do things you like. I don't know if it's yoga, read books, go to the park, or something like that. You just got to take care of yourself. It could be
Mhm.
mentally and physically. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, as far as self love. But like you say, I think a lot of people, they don't take that time out for themselves. They constantly, you know, like you say, when we rush back into relationships and all that, like we need to take time. And some people might be scared. They might be scared to be solo. It's a lot of people out there, once they get out of this relationship, they got to get back into another one because they don't like how it feels to be single or by themselves. And I think that's when self-love is important, where you have to take the time out for yourself, understand who you are, take accountability of what happens, and just do things that you like, you know what I'm saying? And that's how you properly heal, when you do self-love. And what Sierra said in one of the comments, she said, you have to love yourself first. She said, watch how you treat others around your kids. They're watching, and that can have a toxic mindset when they find someone that be with them. Yeah, that does affect the kid, how they raised. I mean, yeah, everything a kid sees that affects, their relationships and so forth in the future.
Yeah, and I want to say one thing, like, for anyone who is not really clear on self-love or just what this whole thing is, because you ask somebody, do you love yourself? And it's like a question. They're like, yeah, I love myself. Like, or it's like, that should be definite. Like, yeah, I love myself. But it's a question because some people don't understand what that even means. So you take a person that you know that you genuinely love, and I want you to think about what you do for that person, how you are with that person, how you handle that person. And then just put self in front of that, because there is no way that you should be providing these liberties to other people if you're not providing them to yourself. So if you don't know how to love yourself, then just think of somebody who you know you do love, and just ask yourself, am I doing anything for them that I wouldn't do for myself or that I don't do for myself? And if you are, that may need to change.
Yeah, when you go back, when you think about one of the things that I think about, and a lot of my friends are like, you're so crazy that you do this. And I'm like, no, I'm not. It's peace for me. I travel by myself. I go to by myself. Floyd knows I smoke cigars. I go smoke cigars by myself, because everywhere I go, I make a friend, but I'm okay with getting on a plane, going somewhere by myself. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
In a dinner reservation for one, I say, are you expecting someone else? No, just me, and I'll walk in and get me a nice table, So I think that those are all things too, doing the things that you enjoy doing, now if I have a preference, I'm at a place in my life where I want somebody to share those things with. But I'm not willing to accept just anybody who comes along. So if I kick it solo for a while, it's not where I'm absolutely comfortable, y'all, but I'm willing to do that and be patient with the person who's gonna, come along and compliment, not complete.
You know what? I had dinner where it was like a brunch by myself for the first time in like a couple weeks ago. And that was relaxing. It was so chill. I had a drink, I was eating. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Cause I used to think like, man, I don't know how, people used to say, I eat by myself all the time. And when I did that, it was just relaxing. It was just, it was just me just vibing out solo and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of dope. So, I finally experienced that, and that I'm going to do it again. So
it's nice. You can't lose yourself, even in marriage, I've been married before, you can lose yourself. I was talking to one of my neighbors. I both really enjoyed life music. Her husband is a little bit older.
Hey, V?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you was breaking up, though.
Uh-oh. I'm on the Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, y'all.
But, it's all good.
Yeah, but, one of my neighbors, they've been married for like 30 years. And she was like, we're at a place now where we've decided that we need to, do differently. Like, I enjoy things that he doesn't, and he enjoys things that I don't. And she's okay with going by herself now. Going to a concert by herself. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't gone to a concert by myself, y'all. I will roll solo all the time.
Yeah.
And not my preference, but I'm okay with it,
So they've been married 30 years, and they're still married, but they just said, hey, we can do certain things separate, and they're cool with that. It's just the understanding and the communication they have.
Yeah, she was ready to roll to the Anthony Hamilton concert with me. Tweeting, come on, girl, let's go listen to Anthony. So
yeah.
But you know what? You bring up a good point also, because what I like about it is that, you have created such a space that you're not going to allow just anybody to come to you. Absolutely. And that threatens a lot of people. See, how you want to be treated, though. You know what I'm saying? And so it just depends on if they're willing to learn. And that's what somebody pointed out in the comments. But you are in a position right now where some people will be put off by it because you know how you want to be treated, and you treat yourself very well. See, it's called having standards. And everybody's not going to want to rise to those standards. But like I said, that's the thing. You have to know how you want to be treated in order to teach someone else. So you know that you like these types of things. And unfortunately, when the love is lacking, or when you get impatient, with the wait, like you get impatient with the process. You know you like these things, but you'll still start to fold on them just because you're like, oh, I guess maybe start second guessing or questioning your values and the standards that you have just because you are ready to settle at that point because you're tired of waiting. But at the end of the day, it's like when you know how you want to be treated, and it's to the point where you're not trying to make other people do for you what you won't do for yourself. Because that's the other thing people try to say, oh, you don't even do that for yourself. You don't even take yourself out. So why should I do it? It's like, no, I do. And I can. And I will if you don't.
No, I'm not going to ask you to take me anywhere that I can't take myself. I say that all the time. Ask you to take me to Dubai if I can't afford to buy my own to Dubai. You know what I mean? Like that, to me, I think that's ridiculous. But some people think that's okay.
And I think with guys, when we see a female and we see that she has standards, and you can't play no games. You can't just you can't just play with her like that. And that intimidates a lot of guys when they see a female and she's on her thing. She has standards. She does certain things. Certain guys ain't gonna talk to her. Some guys gonna be intimidated. They're gonna be able to fall back because there's always levels. It's levels with men. It's level with females. And when a guy sees a female and she's on her thing, she has standards. She has self-care. She's doing all these good things. Then certain guys is gonna fall back. They is not finna try to test that because they know that they do not have the capability, to associate with this woman. Maybe whether it's taking her out to do all these type of things that she enjoy. Like you said, if you want to go to Dubai or California or something like that, well, a guy that's just at his mom's house and in and out of jobs, he gonna understand, like, man, this female right here, let me fall back because she might be a little too much. And it's just like that. And it's like that with women too. It's some guys out there that, the female, she ain't doing too much. And that guy's on he's on his, I want the cuz, but my mom's watching, but he's on his square. He's working, he's doing all these things. He's probably providing and doing stuff in the community and all these type of things. And certain females go fall back. Yeah. So I think when you take care of yourself, when you have self-care, when you have standards and all these type of things, then you're going to attract certain people, and certain people are going to, they're not going to talk to you because of that. But I think, as far as, like we said, man, having standards is so important. But you did say, if you're single over a certain period of time, do those standards fold because you're like, dang, I might have been too strict. Let me fold on one of these standards. Maybe it's okay if his credit score bad. Do you see that wavering sometimes with, being single or guys or, Trina or V? Do you see those standards kind of just breaking down after a period of time of being single?
I mean, I don't know, because I lived single for a long time. I mean, I don't know many people that can actually tell you people I've actually dated until well in or even after it was over, because that's just the way I live. But at the end of the day, what I also will say, because I don't want to pass that up, I noticed when you were talking about like the difference on how people fall back, it seemed like it was more materialistic. So I want to be clear that standards are more than just what you can provide when it comes to those pleasures and things like that. I think sometimes it's conversation. Some people are intimidated by your conversation too. Like if you were talking with them, you may enjoy talking about certain things, and that may be off-putting for some people, or they might start to judge you on that, because it's many of people that'll be like, oh, she thinks she, or he think he. And then the other thing is, somebody pointed out, I was thinking as well, some of the things you describe, and they'll say you high maintenance. They'll say, oh, she too high maintenance for me.
Yep.
That's
an excuse that they have to throw out there, so they,
I have a friend who, that is my title. You too high maintenance for me. And I say, really?
It makes no sense. Like, that's terrible. It's like you love yourself too much. That's what I hear when I hear high maintenance. But at the end of the day, it's like, even when they do fall back, it goes back to our first question of the night. Good. Fall back. Because that's not the person for you. You're not ready for that. And I think that I actually respect them more than the people that pursue it anyway, knowing that they're not ready for that. Because those people tend to try to reduce that person. Because instead of passing that person by and leaving them alone, knowing you darn well are not ready for them, they'll sit up there and get with that person and then try to tear them down. And sometimes, unfortunately, it works. So you'll see people like, dang, she used to, or God, he used to, and all of a sudden you start seeing them actually not being who they typically are. So fall back if you can't handle it, you know, because at the end of the day, that kind of goes into what you said. Do people waver on their standards? Yes. That's when you start to see things change with them. And you're like, oh, all right. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's different when life happens. And it's also different when somebody just basically gets into a situation with you and just kind of sucks the life out of you and you give them a straw. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you just gotta be mindful of that. You know, at the end of the day, all of these questions, like you said, they kind of interact, like they feed off of each other.
They
you
do.
know what I'm saying? But when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, going back to self-love, if in fact you love yourself on both sides, you will continue to treat yourself as you want to be treated. And then you also won't put yourself in a situation that you are completely uncomfortable with, like a fish out of water. Like the people that end up in situations that they know they wasn't ready for.
Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Is okay, being single is overrated, because I see a lot of people saying, "Man, oh, I love my single, I love my peace," and I hear that all the time. But is that just a defense mechanism? Or they saying because they really out there searching for love or searching for that person that they're throwing it out there that I want to be single? Because I'm gonna say, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna say, I don't think nobody. I'm speaking for myself. All right, I don't think a person would want to be single, man. I mean, you know, when I'm in that bed, say, look, when my wife, when she's gone, let's just say she goes to a concert, she's out with her friends, 11 o'clock. It's kind of hard for me to go to sleep till she come back. I gotta have that. I gotta put my feet on her feet, and all that, and it's just comfortable for me. And being single, I'm seeing a lot of people out there saying how, like what we was talking about, is it a shortage of good men? Is it a shortage of good women? Oh, I can't find a guy that's up to my standard. I can't find a female that's up to my standard. And I think being single is not a good thing to me, my opinion. I think it's kind of toxic out there. I think the water is kind of, it's scary out there. V, what you think, V?
I often say that there is pee in the dating pool. Maybe a little bit too. I know Mama on here. I can't say what I want to say.
Yeah, she low key watching. She low key. She gonna call me after, but it's all good. Say what you want to say. She gonna be all right. She gonna be all right.
It's funny because this whole conversation, like everything, I have a really good friend, and he's one of those people where good for each other, but the wrong time. Does that make sense? We talk about everything. And he's one of those people that always says, I enjoy being single. I don't want the headache. I don't want to deal with this. And, I need my peace and this. If I have my preference, I wouldn't be by myself. But I'm not willing to settle either. So
sure.
Being single overrated? I think it is, because I'm in a space in my life right now where I don't want to be single. But again, I think it's subjective, right? Like, where are you in your timeline? Coming out of something bad, being single might be wonderful. I've been divorced going on 5 years. So, I'm at a place now where I'm like, I wouldn't mind having somebody to kind of settle down with and do things with. So again, I think it's just, where are you in your whole scheme of things? That's a very, very subjective thing.
Sierra said being single is a choice. I don't know. Is being single a choice?
Yes. For the most part, yes. I mean, if you wanted to settle and you wanted to be with anybody, right, then you probably could find somebody to be with. But it's like, is that going to be the somebody you want to be with? So I don't necessarily think being single is overrated, to be honest with you. But I'm trying to speak as as objectively as I can, because I'm not single. But you know what I'm saying? But the times when I was single, for the most part, see, there's this thing with these situationships, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been in a few of those myself, because that's what I wanted. I'm the one that honestly was like, no, I don't necessarily want that, you know what I'm saying? So I would keep the arm out. I'm just being honest, you know what I'm saying? Or if a person started expressing more sentimental ooh, whoa, where are we going with this? You understand what I'm saying? So I'll be honest, I've
if a guy was being vulnerable to you, you was quickly rejecting that.
if that's not what it was, that's not what it was, Mr. Floyd. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
at the end of the day, I maintained that for a while. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, we all have our stories as to why, but that's because that's where I was in my life. I mean, I wasn't raised to be married, or I was raised to be successful. So a lot of times I was going to school, you know what I'm saying? And I would be in school. Like that was my first love. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, before I got married, my class ring was fitted to my wedding ring finger. Like seriously, real true story. Because
Damn.
I felt like school was the only thing that what I put into it, it gave back to me. So I was married to my education. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times when you are in relationships though, that's a problem. I've had a couple people that have tried to penalize or down talk, you know what I'm saying, to the point when I was younger, made me feel bad about it. You know what I'm saying, as if I was choosing it over them. And so that's why I was like, once I start, oh no, we're not doing that anymore. So guess what? No dating then, no serious dating. I'm just gonna have fun and, you know, date, not exclusively dating, right? And just go to school and do what I need to do. And that worked out for me because people can't take that all the time. So I literally chose not to be locked down in serious relationships for that purpose, because I realized that everybody can't take you working on yourself, trying to get an education. If you've ever been in higher education, you already know it's a lot, you know what I'm saying? And also being a full-time mom, a full-time, you know, working and all of that stuff, and you want to start tripping. So I literally chose to be single during those times.
Let me ask you this, because I think what you just said is I'm low key raising my daughter like that, because I want her to go to college and focus on her career and stuff like that. So it's almost like what you just said. I want her to be married to education. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I just want her to be successful, you know, where I don't want her to go through those, you know, those troubles of, you know, relationships and heartbreaks and maybe getting pregnant and all that type of stuff. So, I mean, that's what I would want for her, is to be married to her education. And I don't know if that's going to affect her, you know, as far as like, you know, relationship wise and, you know, with guys and all that. I don't know how that's gonna work with her, but
I don't know,
I
because I
just
mean, I did have a baby. Like I said, I had my daughter when I was 20.
okay.
So it's not like I wasn't, you know what I'm saying. And then the
Well,
other thing
yeah.
is, yeah. So that's what I say. Like I know that you can. When I say that, like my dad pushed education. That was
Mm-hmm.
very important to him, to the point where I didn't get in trouble for everything, but I definitely got in trouble if I wasn't doing what I need to do in school. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like he didn't like 89s. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you were
Ooh.
so close. And if you got a 90, he was like, ooh, you know, that was close. You understand what I'm saying? Like my dad was just very big on education and whatnot, you know. And so at the end of the day, he admitted that himself even before I got married. You know, he was just like, he realized that that's kind of how it was. I don't even think that was his intention, you know what I'm saying, to honestly, but it's just like a lot of people are raised to be married. Like that's all you hear is about getting with someone or start. It's like, and that's just not something that was pushed, because I mean, why is there always an agenda? Why does it have to be so streamlined that it can't be one, like all it has to be this or this, you know what I'm saying? Because she still may experience heartbreak and relationships and
For sure, no
whatnot, but
doubt.
it's like it's about what you teach her that's important, what you teach her for as foundationally. So even if she has strayed, you know, she'll come back to it. And just being, you know, educated, like I said, that's what my dad pushed. But when you have that as your foundation, and then you have these external people that are trying to undermine that and trying to guilt trip you out of going and all that stuff like that, then it's like, oh, it's going to quicken you, because again, all my life I've been taught that that's important, and now you're challenging everything that I've been taught by the most important man in my life. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm saying. So whatever you do, you teach her, you lay that strong foundation. And then when others try to question or challenge that, the foundation is already laid. And but all the stuff, I mean, you can't save her from everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But you
true.
just have to
Yeah.
just basically set the standard and then just go from there. But like I say, to each his own. People post the post, single and loving it, and all of that. I really think
Exactly.
it
Yeah.
depends on what day of the year it is, because they have certain times of the year where
Yeah.
it's not what's up. You know what I'm saying?
For
But then they start talking about that summertime, and then it's like, oh, who wants to be attached in summertime? Then I remember it was a such thing that if you wasn't dating somebody by, I think it's Halloween or week before Halloween, then you don't date anybody until after the new year because you're not trying to start nothing new.
Yeah,
You
for
know what I'm
sure.
saying?
For
Just
sure.
single
Yeah.
dating rules,
Yeah.
I would go back to the point about your daughter for a quick second,
Yeah.
because I'm an educator, right? And I teach middle school, 7th and 8th grade, the very special age, right?
Mhm.
I love that age.
I do too. It's my favorite. You can't get me for anything older. So
Yeah.
it takes very special people to teach middle school. But the thing is this, by the time they get to me, they already know who they are. 7th, 6th grade, they already know who they are. And I think that you have to provide a balance. As an educator, yes, I teach a college prep class, so I am always going to push college. I'm always going to push the importance of higher education, getting your education. I always tell them it's the only thing that no one can take away from you. And that's the thing that my mother taught us about education. But they
Yeah.
have to have balance. And I will give you a prime example. Some of my family members might be watching, so I don't want to say too much. But, one of my cousins whose father, my uncle kind of kept her under his thumb.
Mhm.
She went away to school and she wowed out. Like, I mean, wowed out. Like, we were like, okay, whoa, like, where'd this come from? Like, to the point, get her and bring her back home. So you have to have a balance. You have to have a balance between the two. I'm not saying definitely, I'm going to say push education 1,000%, the importance of it, but allow them to have that balance and that time to grow up too.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's move on. Let's go on to the on to this one, man. And I think this varies from a man and a woman's perspective, but can a relationship go back to normal after a person gets caught cheating?
A lot of work.
A lot of work.
Yeah, like it's like
I,
short answer. I'm not gonna say never, but
man, that's tough.
Are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing, that goes back to, dealing, being the bag lady, carrying all those bags, trust is going to be the biggest thing in the relationship, right? So when you breach that trust, you're spending all of that time getting caught up. You're trying to get that trust back. Then a lot of times you can't ever get it back. I don't think 100%, because on the receiving end of, being someone who's been cheated on, now I'm constantly looking at everything that you're doing. Like I'm looking at you through the microscope, right? Like through the lens of, what are you doing? And then I think at some point the person who cheated gets tired of proving, that I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing now. So
Yeah. I
I
think
don't
with guys, man, not to cut you off, but with guys, it's a pride thing. Your girl cheated on you, and even if you know the guy or whatever, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. But it's a pride thing. Like you said, once that happens, I mean, it's kind of hard. You think when she go out, is she out messing with that guy? You think if she on the phone, is she on the phone with her friends, or there's that guy? And I think with guys, it's just more of a pride thing that, man, my girl was with this guy, so now this guy has the upper hand on me. He has the ups on me because he messed with my girl, and stuff like that. And it's like now you're questioning yourself. You're questioning like, damn, what did I do? What am I doing wrong to make her go talk to this dude and stuff like that? And it can lead to arguments. And like I said, we don't heal from that. We don't go to therapy. We don't communicate properly to understand where we went wrong with that. We just be like, hey, I'm sorry, I apologize, forgive me. And then over time, they might get back together, but they don't properly communicate and they don't properly heal from that. So I don't think it will work out, to be honest with you. Now, I'm not saying they don't. Clearly, relationships do bounce back after that, but man, it's tough. I mean, I think you need therapy. I think you need to communicate about how the situation happened and why it happened for you to understand and move forward.
yeah, I think that it depends on uh if both people cheated too. So I think it's different with both. It's not that they cancel each other out, but
You think you think women are more forgiving than men?
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. These days, I don't know. It's just more. It's more even kill all across the board these days. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, like you even said, you think it's a pride thing, and we don't like it either. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to know that you messed with such and such. It don't feel good to us to know that either. We feel like she got a one up on us too. And the thing about it is women tend to be nastier. Now that I will say. Because if a dude, I don't know, I haven't seen yet, where the guy, unless, exceptions to every rule, right? But I don't really see guys plastering names and screenshots and stuff like that. Like
yeah, that's not really a guy thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't see that, and that's not trying to single out anybody. I am a female, but I don't see that as much. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're saying that if I know the dude, he got one up on me, yeah, but I don't see dudes going around telling everybody, yeah, I did that. But a lot of times females get catty and everybody know.
Yeah, like you said, the screenshots is going on Facebook,
and it's like subliminals tagging people in it and everything, and so now the world, right, knows that they did whatever versus that. So it's like when you say, for men, it's a pride thing. Yeah, for you maybe internally, but a lot of times women go through knowing that they know and that everybody else knows. You know what I'm saying? And so the short answer to can relationship go back normal or whatever is it depends. I mean, that's the answer to really everything, right? It depends. It depends on the people that are involved in relationship. To be honest with you, when it comes to forgiveness has nothing to do with forgetting. So that means that you have to know that you are going to remember what happened to you, and forgiveness is a process. It's not a one instance. You're going to have to continue to forgive that person over and over again because it's going to come up. When they go and they don't answer the phone as quickly as you would like, you are forgiving them again if you stay, because then your mind immediately go to, what are they doing? Could they be, if they go to the corner store and it take too long, say something that they wanted wasn't at the store, so they went to another store. Your mind is still like, why they had to go so far? So you're consistently forgiving them over and over again if you truly forgave them, right? And it may come a time in that relationship when you don't forgive them again, right? Because it's like, okay, after a while, it is snowballed and you just couldn't get past that. So we have to understand that it's not just okay, I forgive you and we good. That is going to come up. And so when you choose to forgive someone, you have to remember that, because we don't have the mind to forget. That's just not how it works. You know what I'm saying? And so the word normal, again, is subjective. And quite frankly, I'm going to be honest with you. If a person cheated on somebody, do y'all really want the relationship to go back to normal? Because it seemed like there was a problem.
Yeah, that's why I say that's why you need to have the communication and understand why it went that way.
Yeah. So the normal part, though, I mean, there is no normal. It's just like when we were talking about COVID and the pandemic, and everybody was like, "Will things ever get back to normal again?" It's like that normal is gone. There's a new normal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what is the new normal? So I feel like the question would be more accurate if it says, "Can a relationship survive cheating?" You know what I'm saying? Because the normal, I wouldn't personally want to go back to whatever the norm was, because whatever the norm was led to you cheating.
Yeah.
So we need to talk about it, see what happened, what was the breakdown, you know what I'm saying? And then move forward and create this new norm for ourselves if we are going to stay in this situation.
Got it.
Before we move on to the last question, it's a movie that they had. I forgot the name of it. I'm gonna have to Google it, but it was a movie, and the husband found out that his wife was having an affair with the guy, and the husband killed the guy, and the wife and told the wife and stuff like that. And I mean, she knew he killed him. I mean, they both knew, but they remained together or whatever. Like, she cried and she said I'm sorry for this happening and blah 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 and all that type of stuff, and they end up staying together. I forgot the name of this movie.
But I can't think of the name of it either.
Yeah, I forgot. I remember at the end of the movie, they was in a car. The police sirens was coming or something. They was at the stoplight and they just drove off or something. But yeah, he found out his wife was having an affair, and he ended up killing the guy. Wife found out. She apologized and all that. Started crying, and they was crying and all that type of stuff. And they remained together as far as the movie ended. They were still together and stuff like that. But yeah, like you said, I mean, why would you want it to go back to normal if that situation, I mean, if y'all don't correct the problem, then it might happen again. Or then, you know what, you'd be like, you know what, she cheated on me, so you know what, I deserve to go do my thing and get this even. You know what I'm saying? She cheated on me, okay, it's my turn. And
Yeah.
that just, it just never works out, so it
No,
just
you
makes
might get a honestly, it may give you a hall pass. It's still not going to fix it.
it's not.
Do it to me. You can do it. It's like, yeah, but now you started the game. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now the game has begun. So it's like at the end of the day, we still have to figure out what the breakdown was. And it's not always a breakdown in a relationship. Going back to the first question all the way again, it may not have just been the right situation. And if your agenda changes within the relationship, I think that it is important for you to let the person know.
Yeah.
See, we always avoid those difficult conversations because we don't want to, deal with it. It's not always about not wanting to hurt somebody. People just don't want to have those conversations because they're uncomfortable. So nobody wants to be mature enough to have those uncomfortable conversations. Like if you're not feeling it no more, you're not feeling it anymore. But instead of saying that you like, well, I'm just gonna dip out, and then when everything blows up, now it's like I have not been happy for months. Really? Because you could have talked to me about that months ago instead of dragging this on, making the other person feel like things are what they're not, or everybody just feel the vibes, everything's changing, but no one's saying anything. And then all of a sudden you have this big blow up and now everything comes out. Why do we have to wait till the blow up to be honest with each other when you
Yeah.
can just have those difficult conversations when you both are actually in a position to talk?
True.
Because that's why people cheat. That's exactly why people cheat, because it's like something that you want that your partner is not giving.
Yeah, and they're afraid to communicate that with their partner.
Or
It-
sometimes
Or you
communicated
just either. Yeah.
with my ex-husband. You, I communicated with my ex-husband 4 years before I filed for my divorce about what I need. To the conversation, like, okay, I'm better, better. You say, okay, I'm gonna be patient. There's time to kind of adjust, right? And then 3 months later, we're having the same conversation.
Mm.
Don't give a damn, or you're not equipped with what you need to do. You're not trying to, become equipped with what you need to do to fulfill these needs. I don't think I'm a really hard person to please, but you have to do what you need to So I can understand. I understand why people cheat.
Okay, so let's this is kind of switching the little subject a little bit, but um, as far as young men, how can they become great leaders? And let me just say this too, and I'm just throwing this. This is just one aspect that I had a conversation with a buddy of mine, and we was talking about music wise, as far as the culture that it creates for our young men to be out there. You know, um, it's cool to have multiple women. It's cool to disrespect them. And when you see a young guy, if you see a guy with his girl, then they calling him simp, they calling him lame, they calling him soft. Um, they just shun the idea of a man, a young man, just catering to his woman or doing these type of things and stuff like that. That's not the norm now. And we was talking about how this culture is creating, bad leaders as far as relationship wise for our young men because they don't know how to be leaders and stuff like that because they probably don't even have the family or the uncles or the dads to teach them like that because the trauma has just been going down, down the family line. So who can they look up to? As far as no father figure, no uncle, because all they're gonna do is tell them like, "Hey, man, these females are no good. Get yourself straight first. Don't trust them. They gonna cheat. They dogs. They this like that. Don't talk to black women. Get you." They go throw all kind of negative things out there to this young man, and our deal is how can we create leaders as far as like that, as far as being a relationship wise.
Hmm.
They definitely role models, and you're so right. Like, what do you do when they don't have a father? Well, they have a father, but their father is not involved in their life, or they don't have someone who falls into that role. I know I have a really, really good friend who he's a Q, and I know that in his chapter where they are in Alabama, they do these things on Saturdays where they bring all of these young men together, who are in those situations, who don't have good examples, and they set a really good example for them. They teach them things that they may not necessarily learn because they don't have men in their lives. And I think that it's an amazing effort, and we need more opportunities like that, for these young men to see what a man looks like, especially a strong black man. you know
Mm-hmm.
that's us getting out here in the trenches and trying to provide examples for those young men who don't have an example, even for the young ladies, even
Mm-hmm.
at my school, starting a group to teach young ladies to respect themselves and to respect their bodies and being honest with them and giving them a space where they can be honest. So I think it starts with the role models, and I think that we have to step in. I have a son, but I can't teach my son how to be a man. I need his father for that, and I need my friends for that.
Mhm.
His example. So
I
think
think not to cut you off, but with me, I was able to fall back on what I seen my dad do with my mom. You know what I'm saying? He was always there. He worked, he provided for us, and I seen and he provided the foundation for me. Now, when I said I was younger and I was smashing the pain away, yeah, I got away from that foundation because I was hurt. But when I got older, it started making sense for what my dad was doing, like him going out working, providing for us, the family man that he was and stuff like that. And seeing that growing up, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be like, as far as my dad, it was a family, it was family orientated and stuff like that. And what we see when we grow up, that's kind of what we do as far as kids. And then just seeing my dad provide for us and able to get us things and taking us on family trips and stuff like that, I wanted that when I got older. So I wanted to build with a female like my dad built with my mom. So I think as far as providing that foundation, I think it really starts with us, what I'm saying, as far as us men out there, to provide that for you know the young guys out there. And you don't even have to be, that don't even have to be your son. That could be your nephew, that can be your cousin. And it, what I'm saying, we always say it takes a tribe and stuff like that. And I just think that, to be honest with you, it starts with us men to provide, what I'm saying, and show these young men what it takes to be a leader, because some of them don't have nobody to depend on. They don't have nobody to even look at. They don't even have a neighbor to look at, but like, man, my neighbor, what I'm saying, I like what he's doing with his family, and they provide and stuff like that. And I think it just starts with us, man. We got to break the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
example, excuse me 1 second, the example with them seeing stuff, in this music and all of these things that they see on social media and things, that's their example, and that's scary.
Yeah. But I always challenge the notion when it comes to like the music and stuff like that, simply because when they have what is that song when they talk about it's the two ladies and she calls her and says, is it Barbara or so? I don't know. It's some song that whatever the song is the woman to woman, Mr. Cleanup Woman.
Oh, that old song?
Yes, this before any of us, okay, was probably even looking for stuff that Love Train and Weekend Lover and what I'm saying. So
sure.
they had a lot of songs, honestly, they just romanticized cheating and romanticized having multiple women and multiple, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So my thing is, at the end of the day, one of the important things is, if we want our society to improve in that way, then we as a society have a job to do. It's not going to, we can keep on saying this. Like I hear them with the schools talking about the parents. Look, you keep depending on people who not doing what they need to do it. And you can keep them, being disappointed. You know what I'm saying? It's a time when if you want to see change, you have to be the change. Without change, no change. You won't change. There has to be change. And so my thing is, it's like, to be a great leader in a relationship, you must first be a great leader. Period. And so it's like, you can get examples from more than just within your household, because unfortunately we can sit here and talk all day about what's not in the household and how broken the families are and the pipeline from the school we can talk about that all day, but we've talked about that enough. To me, I'm more proactive. I like to talk about what we can do versus what we can't, because we've already beat that horse. Like, yes, the broken families, no examples. A woman can't teach a man how to be a man, but I also know that there's hidden gems in those situations, because I also learn what not to do. So if I see someone that's not leading a good example, I know plenty of people whose father was absentee, so they made sure that they was present in their children's lives. They're very good fathers, all because they do everything opposite of what their father did. You know what I'm saying? They got some people who they might not have that dad, but they do have their uncle. They might have their big brother. They may have the man across the street, their best friend's dad. They may have a certain teacher that they see how he operates. A coach. Coaches are so good in this space because you're doing way more than teaching them a sport. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at the end of the day, we just have to, I think, rethink what examples we're looking for, because we still have plenty of good role models in the community, you know, to where it's like some of us, I mean, a lot of us listen to the same music, you know what I'm saying? We're exposed to the same things, but yet we don't succumb to it. So there has to be another variable somewhere in there to where some people choose to follow suit with that, and some people don't. But at the end of the day, as a society, I think that it's more about people being a better example themselves, and then also showing them, yeah, you see that, but if you have an alternative, then you have a choice. It's just that when all you hear is one thing, then that looks like the choice. So we have to start doing that, because there are many organizations. My sorority has like organizations for the younger ladies and gets them involved into it. And I'm pretty sure many other organizations do the same thing, where they start young and have those programs for the younger people. So, you know, they have all of these, like the Pee-wee sports, you know, football around here with the little babies is very, very popular. You know, all of it. So so you know, you have those men that go out there, they're not being paid, they love what they do. Those are role models. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I just think that, you know, we have to, you know what I'm saying, promote, I think, more of those images, and also be supportive in those efforts. And then also, you know, at the end of the day, encourage those people too. You know what I'm saying? Because they're, you know, at the end of the day, if you direct the attention to them, if you recognize those people, you know, put them on a pedestal. Because a lot of the stuff we're talking about is because it's put on a pedestal. So you know what? If they want to put that type of stuff on the pedestal, then we're gonna put the other stuff on the pedestal too. So at least we have a fighting chance.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know?
V, what you think before we get out of here?
I think this was an amazing conversation, and I think that we need to, I think as a people, just do a little bit more work with us. I know that I personally know I have more work that I need to do and things that I want to do in the community, and, you know, use my platform as an educator to, you know, reach as many kids as I can, try to mold these babies up the right way and send them on out here, you know, so that we can change our narrative as a people. So I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I thank you for allowing me to share your stage with you, sir.
Man, I appreciate you for coming on, V. I thank you. Also, I appreciate you, Trina, for always coming on. You know, so you give a great perspective. Also with you too, V. I'm gonna get with you on the wine thing. You know, because I'm gonna have to.
I know. I was like, look at me. I'm so lame. I'm over here just like, I didn't get the memo.
Nah, it's all good. I already understood what you had going on and stuff like that. So
yeah. No,
but, man,
but
I think no. Go ahead, Trina.
Sorry, I just want to. Obviously, you already know. I always thank you for having me on. I thank the others that, you know, your people, your followers that actually mention and ask and comment to me personally. I thank y'all as well. I am, in fact, looking for opportunities pro bono, because I mean, I don't mind giving back to my community to speak. Whether it's in the school settings or in organizations or whatever the case is, I have been actively looking for those opportunities. So if in fact anyone wants to further discuss that, now I do consultations and things like that for companies and things like, you know, but I'm talking about actually speaking to students. I started doing it last year. Loved it. So
I think Stacy can help you with that as far as with the students.
Well, it depends on what they're looking for, because like at the end of the day, you know, it's definitely by campus, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like at the end of the day, those people, if it's anybody that's like boots on the ground, then they'll know what their campus is looking for, because most of the time it's someone from the campus that reaches out and they have a specific set of people, but or kids. But that's something that I do not mind doing. So at the end of the day, like I said, if that's something that anyone's interested in, then just reach out to me and let me know, and we'll see what we can get done.
I think that's awesome. Those kids need that. They really need that. So may God bless you for that one.
All right, y'all, man. I appreciate y'all coming on, man. You know, I'm gonna hit y'all up. Y'all always welcome to come back again for sure.
We'll love to. Thank you. All
right, y'all take care.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
All right, good stuff.
All right, so man, look, that was EP 118. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Shout out to my girl Elizabeth from Sydney. She from Sydney, Australia, and stuff like that. So shout out to all the people out there in Australia holding it down. Why don't you share this to the people out there in Australia? Let them know, about the Kickback podcast that we, coming on every Friday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Man, I appreciate y'all for, saying, commenting and doing all those things. And we got another show next Friday. I'm see if I hit my boy up, Stacy. See if he want to come on. Hit up my boy Ken. See if he want to come on. We're gonna have a dope, conversation. And we're gonna have some great topics as always, man. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all have a great weekend. I hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving, good holidays. I'm wishing y'all a further good holidays, Christmas, New Year's coming up, man. Y'all be safe out there. Y'all be blessed. And until then, until next Friday, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna holler at y'all. All right. 100. Peace.